Boom! What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's me. After a long time, Renaldo Zaimi with another banger. And this time it's a couple of words. It's like a random game. You know what I mean? I'm throwing, as you can see, focus is the first word. I'm throwing a couple of words in the computer and I'm going to discuss about these words. What do they mean to me and how should I use them? Why did I use them wrong? What is the meaning behind them, etc., etc. Let's make it a little bit more poetic because I know that people basically know about these words, right? And they have seen them again, and in other channels, which might be a little bit more business oriented, focus wise, etc., etc. But let's find the poetry behind these words. So, focus is, and that's why it's on the number one word, the first word, because in our generations now with the internet and all that, focus is the number one, is the epitome of all the aspects that a human being should acquire first in order to acquire wealth. Okay, pardon my English. But if you do not have focus at this day and age, the game is over for you. And it's over for me too, because I have find myself, throughout all these years that I'm working, I may be like on the Logic Pro, like making the beat or doing, then boom, YouTube. Oh, let's scroll a little bit here and there. Let's play a song. Oh, let's do this. Then I go somewhere else. Then I get back here a little bit again, scrolling. Then okay, let's go back to Logic a little bit. Boom, it's over, man. Right? Oh, let me check a little bit notifications, all that. It's over. So nowadays, what I'm trying to do and I'm trying to implement, it's this, and it's called timer. Every computer has a timer, right? So what I'm doing, what I'm experimenting nowadays is I put a timer on, right? I put a timer on, timer 1 hour, 1 hour Logic Pro. That's it, right? I don't care what is happening around the world. 1 hour. When the timer starts beeping, right? So I have already been inside 4 hours, 4 hours of work. You know what I mean? Can beat 4 hours of focused work. Can beat 8 hours of a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Okay, get up, go there, do this, do that. You know what I mean? So it's not about hard work, but it's about smart work. A lot of people say, "Oh, I work every day, all that," but in fact, what they are doing is 80% they are wasting their time. You know what I mean? Doing meaningless stuff. You do focus work, it's over. Studying, the same thing. You study 4 hours focused without phones and computers and all that, social media, games, whatever you guys do, and gals, or texting, messaging, and all that BS. It's over. Okay, next. Oh, discipline. Yeah, you need to be disciplined. It is, to tell you the truth, it is very simple. You know what I mean? That's it. You gotta be disciplined. You can't just be, like, you have to do it 6 times a week. One day you take off, right? Don't listen to the, well, don't listen to the world champions who tell you like 7 times 7. You know what I mean? I believe in order to be consistent, forever, not just 5 years, and then okay, I'm retiring because now I'm a millionaire athlete or whatever. But in order to be consistent throughout your whole life, 6 out of 7, right? You are disciplined, you do focused work, and that's it. You don't question, you set the things, you set the work, you do it, that's it. You get over it. Some days you have extreme energy, your mental health is there, life is beautiful, everything goes well. Some days they are like, stormy. Things, they don't go well with your personal life, right? But what can you do? You do the work again. Some days stuff happens, you create stuff and it's beautiful and all that, and you get that pure dopamine, right, that you need. But some days you don't create nothing. You try, nothing comes out of it. And even if something comes out of it, it's not good. You know it, I know it, everyone knows it, right? But again, what can you do? Discipline. Again, next day, you know what I mean? Work. The only thing that separates you, me, and everybody else from achieving our goals in this life is work. Focused work, discipline to keep on working, even when sometimes you might not want it, you know what I mean? Sometimes you just want to chill. But you gotta work. That's it. This is your task as a human being. It's like sometimes you want to chill, but you have like to take a shower, you know what I mean? Because you stink. Sometimes you want to chill, but you have to eat because otherwise you are going to faint. Well, with eating, it's not that, but let's say with water, right? You have to drink water. You know what I mean? You have to go to the bathroom. You gotta pee. You gotta take a dump. You wanna chill, but what can you do? You wanna sleep, but you gotta pee. You know what I mean? The same thing with work. You gotta do the work. I'm sorry, but that's life. Vision. Well, for the people who are not like in the 9 to 5, you know what I mean? Who are not working for other people, who have their own goals, so to speak, about their own thing, about their own kind of... You need to have a vision. Whether you like it or not, because if you do not have a vision, you are going to... not to say quit, but you will be closer to that. Oh man, like it's like so much, man, maybe I'm wasting my life, maybe this, maybe... So you are starting like to put seeds of insecurity, you know what I mean? And these seeds of insecurity, if you let them, they will grow. And then you will be like, oh, maybe I have to quit. And that's the bad thing that you are telling to yourself. This is the bad thing, but this started from the seeds that you planted. You know what I mean? So you have to have a vision. Amazon didn't start as Amazon. SpaceX didn't start as SpaceX. Facebook didn't start as Meta. You know what I mean? It started as the Facebook. If you watch like the movie and documentaries and all that. But big things, they take time, in order to build. You know what I mean? And because right now I feel like I'm Keanu Reeves. I don't know why, but his hand gestures and how he talks. But The Matrix, it didn't start as, oh, wow, the movie and all that. It started as a piece of paper, you know what I mean? An idea, maybe, or maybe a scene. They wrote the Wachowski wrote a scene, you know what I mean? And it started, or like an idea, this guy and all that. It didn't start, you know what I mean? Everything starts from from almost nothing, right? And step after step, step after step, work, discipline, focus, and vision. And little by little, the vision builds. And now, if you are like in the 10th year, you might have a vision that, yes, you had the first year, maybe, right? But in the 10th, it is more clear to you, right? You know what I mean? And you might not have it like, right, everything, how it will be and all that. But if you have like, okay, here's this step, then I have to take the other step, then the other step, then the other step. You know what I mean? If you have these steps, then everything will present itself to you, right? Perseverance, American word. You know what I mean? Perseverance. You gotta have perseverance, because things are gonna become difficult, whether you like it or not. You know what I mean? Things will become difficult for you, and you gotta push me, and then just push me, satisfaction. You know what I mean? And you will get satisfied every time you keep on pushing, you don't quit, and you finally get it. You know what I mean? You finally get it. Okay, I finally got how I should mix, right? How I should mix a song. I finally got it, man. I finally know why my bass wasn't like booming. Finally know why my kick wasn't kicking. I finally know why everything was how it was, right? I finally know that. And it will be dangerous, because you have to keep on pushing. You have to do it. You can't just, every time something difficult appears to you, or something that you think it's difficult, it's not difficult, it's just like a puzzle, you know what I mean? And you just have to think and experiment. Okay, this one, no, this, no. You gotta take a little bit of time, you know what I mean? But that's called perseverance, despite it being difficult, or it appears so. You keep on working, you keep on doing it, because you have the vision, you know what I mean? And also, for my friends who are already deep into the game, they have the experience. It's not the first time that something difficult appeared, you know what I mean, in their journey. So they know that, okay, if I solved other difficult things in the past, right, then it means that if I am focused in that problem, right, and I do the work, and I am disciplined, and I have also the vision for the future, then it means that it's going to get solved, inevitably speaking. You know what I mean? And consistency, you do it again. It's like the work and the discipline. You gotta become consistent. And sometimes you are not going to see fruits of your efforts. You know what I mean? But you gotta be consistent. If you can just be, you know what I mean? And I do that mistake, right? You push for a very, very, very long period of time, and then you just you gas out. It's that 6 out of 7 thing that I'm telling you. You gas out, you have watched countless of videos of working hard and all that throughout these months, and then you gas out and nothing happens. Why? Because you didn't follow the 6 out of 7, rule. Next, smile, have fun. Smile, have fun. You know what I mean? It's like, why in the F you are becoming angry? Why in the F you are becoming sad? No, it's first sad and then angry. Sad and then angry. Why you become irritable, irritatable. I don't know like the word, but you know what I mean. Why you become cold-hearted? Why you become a pessimist? Why you become a chauvinist? Women can do that work. No, but we are Delta Force right here. No, but you know what I mean. Why become an a-hole? You know what I mean? Why? It doesn't matter. It doesn't worth. It's not worth it. You know what I mean? It's not worth it. It's not. It's not worth it. It's not. I'm sorry, but it's not worth it. Why? It's not worth it. Why you gotta become that negative person? You don't know what am I doing, what I'm going through. Nobody gives an F. In the eyes of God, okay, you do what you do. Congratulations. I don't know if I can say that people should be happy for you or they should root for you. Why? Nobody owes you a thing, you know what I mean? Why don't you root about other people, or why aren't you happy? You just don't care because you are like focused on your work, right? So the same thing, everyone is kind of focused on their lives and their problems, you know what I mean? So why you have to be right? So you know what I mean? Yeah, you can say your no, you can say your whatever, you can say your okay, ladies and gentlemen, this company, we should go this way, or like we should do this, or I believe this and this and that, we should focus on this, we should focus on that, you know what I mean? You can say whatever you want, you can express whatever you are feeling without you being an a-hole, you know what I mean? And first and foremost, without you being an a-hole to your family and friends, you know what I mean? Then of course to your co-workers, to society, etc., 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 you know what I mean? Just have fun, yes, sometimes it's difficult, the journey is difficult, but other times it's good, right? So why forget the other times that the journey, there were days that they were beautiful, you know what I mean? It's like Michael Scott in The Office. Okay, don't be so Michael Scott, but the character of Michael Scott in The Office kind of taught you that okay, relax a little bit, you don't have like to be a horrible boss. Horrible bosses, but never mind. So love, soul, life is the first thing right here. Smile, have fun, like let love, accept love, and give love, you know what I mean? Give love, accept love, throughout your journey. Don't forget your soul, man. Don't forget to educate your soul. Don't forget to feed your soul with good deeds and all that. You already know what it is. Stop being an a-hole. Stay humble, don't, just because you might be successful, or your company, or your dreams, or your goals, whatever, you reach your goals and all that, don't start thinking that you are a superior human being. There is always a God, and 99% of what you did and your success, it is because of God. It is only 1% you. Yes, you are doing stuff. Okay, yes, you are working hard. Yes, you are consistent and all that. But at the end of the day, it's God. And God chose you to succeed. And that's it. And it's not that you are a chosen one, meaning that, oh, you're something special, but it is that you are chosen. And sometimes maybe like it is, the journey might be more difficult than if you weren't chosen, when we are talking about the soul level right here, because most of the people, they see, like, let's say that you become rich, right, and successful. They see the rich life, and they are like, oh, how lucky he is. But behind closed doors, maybe like his soul journey might be way, way, way more difficult than someone like who lives like a 9 to 5, and he has like a pretty decent life, right? Soul wise, the rich guy's journey was way more difficult, right? Sometimes. I don't know about all the rich and successful and whatever people, right? And life, man. Don't forget life. Life is not um, huge piles of cash and boats and airplanes and villas and watches and cars and whatever, right? Life is the small things, right? And sometimes you might have like a person who has everything, the rich life, and deep inside he's very empty, you know what I mean? And then you have like that other guy who is like the 9 to 5, decent life, all that, and like his soul is so full, man, and he or she is like so happy and so appreciative of life, so thankful to God about life and the life that he or she has been given, right? That is like on a soul level, it's way, 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 1,000 times better than the rich guy or gals, life. Because at the end of the day, rich, watch, car, whatever, can never replace a rich, beautiful, soul loving life. You know what I mean? Now, if you can become rich and have all that, and your soul is rich too, congratulations. But you will realize that yes, you have the money, yes, you have like the success, yes, you have everything, but all these things, they are on a second level. You know what I mean? They don't matter so much. Like they matter because they can provide you like with freedom, right, to travel, see the world, to not be so focused on, oh, how am I going to pay the bills, how am I going, like, you know what I mean? Money gives you that freedom, right? And if you educate your soul and you let love and you let God inside your being, you know what I mean? And you talk to God, you pray to God, right? And you do good deeds and always attack your ego, right? And always let your soul kind of speak to you, right? And try to distinguish ego and soul. They are two different things, right? And live your life beautifully. Then I strongly believe that money would just bring you freedom. It's nothing else. Just freedom from the material. No, just freedom from the survival mode. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, God runs the show, right? God runs the show. God runs the show right here, ladies and gentlemen. You might get all the success, everything, all that. Boom, God makes you sick. Boom, you suffer. Boom, you die. Boom, good night, good evening, whatever, goodbye. And that's it. At the end of the day, God runs the show. You should have absolute faith to God and God's whatever God wants. Sometimes maybe your journey, you might see like a path and be like, oh yes, this is my path, this is it. But God is like, no, this is not for you. Then you cry about it. Why didn't this happen? God knows something way better for you. You put your ego. You are like, no, this was the best thing for me ever happened. Whatever, right? God tries to show you that wasn't actually good for you and your soul and your journey and all that. And it would have been actually very, very, very bad for you, for all aspects, for everything, right? But you are like, oh, and it takes you years of fighting with God. And then you realize and you're like, yeah, God, I'm sorry. You are very right, and thank you actually for protecting me. What else can I say? God runs the show. Whatever God wants. A lot of people, and I see it, like with people, even when they claim like to be like God, when they claim like to be with God, you know what I mean? Can we say religious? Okay, whatever you want to say. But they always try to put the human aspect, you know what I mean? Which is like very stupid in my opinion. Because at the end of the day, if you ever kind of thought about it, right? Whatever you did with your life, and whatever you didn't, what kind of separated you from that? You know what I mean? From whatever you did and whatever you didn't do, right? Well, there are a lot of aspects, first of all, that you haven't even thought about it, right? There were a lot of aspects that you haven't even chose about it, right? And I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say. Sometimes you say, oh, I'm successful because I did all the stuff that I did. Okay, yes, it is good, but it is also me. Me. All I hear is me from this world. Me. Who are you, man? You are nothing. You are nothing. I am nothing. It is God. Only God. Me. Who are you? Me. I am me. I did that. I do this. I did this. I am proud of myself. Stupid arguments. You are successful. Why? Because you were born. Let's say you were born in America, right? You were born in Manhattan. Your parents were like rich and successful. They taught you were in an environment that they taught you everything great. You know what I mean? You acquired, the wealth. Where is me? And you reached, let's say, a pinnacle, right? You are a successful trader in broker, right? In Manhattan, right? And you transfer millions of dollars, right? Okay, now we have a kid in Pakistan or like in India, in Afghanistan, or whatever, and all day that whatever he does, like he does balls, you know what I mean, like football balls, like from age of 11. Okay, so now let's compare these two. Where is the me? Right here, you stupid idiots. Instead of thanking God every day for the life that God gave you, right? You are like, yes, it is God, but it is also me. Nah, in Greece, right? When we want to like say, like someone is stupid or like something like that, we do this 1, 5, and the other 5, boom, get it, malaka. And malaka is like the stupid idiot. So, next. Haters, me. Haters are actually messengers. Yeah, sometimes, like when I didn't like let my ego like get over me, you know what I mean, and be like, they are just haters, they're gonna hate and all that. I tried like to really kind of like understand what might be like the message behind, like their critique, you know what I mean. And sometimes, like I have found like some things within myself that I'm like, oh yeah, man, like maybe like right here. But it took me like a lot of ego fighting, with myself to really, really, really understand the message, because you have to separate the messenger from the message, you know what I mean. And I have said to myself, you know what, man, like in that aspect, I have like to take a responsibility and be like, yeah, um, maybe like I haven't dealt the best cards, but I could have did that thing, you know what I mean? Like I could have worked on that thing instead of saying, you know what, just because I haven't dealt the best cards, so um, let's neglect this aspect, right? And focus all my eggs in that basket, you know what I mean? And sometimes like people they have told me like stuff, right? They have critiqued me about things, and I have it took me a lot of time, right? And a lot of effort, and I have said to myself, you know what? Let that stupid idiot, right? And try to forget him or her or whoever, right? But he said like something, right? And that word really had a meaning. And that meaning, he might said he might said it to you about other stuff, right? But that word really, 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 really had a meaning, and that meaning might be like, in that aspect of your life, you might be like this, right? You might be lazy in that aspect of your life. So if you called you lazy, right, and you are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Am I lazy? I work like all day, every day. I work twice as much as you, 4 times more than you, right? But maybe that lazy might have meant, maybe in your personal life you were lazy, because even in your personal life, whether it's love life, whether dating, love life, friends, acquaintances, um, family members, like you gotta put in the work, you know what I mean? Like you wanna like find like your soulmate, or like you wanna have a dating life, you gotta work, you know what I mean? You wanna have friends and all that, you gotta put in the work. And when I say you wanna like have relationships with family members and all that, you gotta put in the work. You don't have to be lazy, right? Same with family, right? Meaning that you gotta work, you gotta call, you gotta text, you gotta show effort, you gotta put in the effort, right? Arrange meetings, go travel, this, that, but if you are lazy, for example, with your personal life, because you say to yourself, you know what, man, I gotta focus on my dream, my goal, and I gotta achieve that, and for as long as it takes, I don't care about nobody and all that. Well, that's not good. That's not good for your soul. That's not good for your life. You are not a robot. You are a human being. You should not neglect. So if someone tells you, "Oh, you are lazy," uh, but you put your ego, right, and you are like, wait a second, I'm not lazy. What is he doing? Oh, fuck him. You know what I mean? Or like, but if you really say, okay, lazy, but where am I actually lazy? If I am not lazy in my work, right? In my goals, then where am I lazy? And you start thinking, and you're like, oh, yeah, man. Yeah. He's actually right. It's not what he said, but you know what I mean? It's not what he or she said, but it's like, oh, that word, man. Yeah. Yeah, that aspect of my life, I have been neglecting it. And yes, I was lazy because it takes effort. You gotta put in effort. You gotta put in the work. So haters are actually messengers, but it is a little bit tricky to get the message. You know what I mean? It is a little bit tricky. It is. I'm sorry, but it is a little bit tricky. It will take a little bit time. And ego, just get it out of your life as much as possible, or like make it healthy, right? Failure equals invitation for growth. Yeah, failure, that's it. Like, a lot of people, they think like, oh, you failed, and oh, your pattern failed, your business failed, you failed, your songs failed, um you getting into college, you failed, you getting into like this job, you failed, etc, etc, etc. But it is actually an invitation for growth. Why? Because it is a message from God that is telling you, okay, buddy, it's not time yet. You know what I mean? You gotta fix a couple of stuff, you gotta work on a couple of stuff, um and you gotta, you know what I mean, you gotta keep on working. You gotta acquire a little bit of experience more. It's not time yet, right? You are not a complete, let's say, so to speak, artist, right? In my right aspect. um so you gotta keep on working a little bit. Yes, it might be a little bit frustrating because you are like, oh, but I worked all this time. Yeah, but a couple of more years, and don't worry, you'll get rewarded. You will do it, but it will take a little bit of time. And the failure that I'm showing you right now, it is actually an invitation for you to grow, become a better vocalist. Even though I have effed up my voice, I gotta like relax it a little bit. Become a better vocalist, become a better songwriter, a better producer. You know what I mean? Oh, but I studied so much, God. Again, I don't care. Become a better mixing engineer. Oh, but I have mixed so many songs. Again, I don't care. Better mastering engineers. But I don't care. Again, I don't care. Again, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Oh, but why, God? But because you're going to become like so good, man. Like, you know what I mean? God has promised me, that He will make me great. And I strongly believe it, you know. But I have to keep on being focused and work and all that, you know. And so should you. That's what it is, the failure. But it is failure. I'm sorry, it is failure. You cannot just disguise it as whatever, you know. It is failure. It is. But you have to accept it as part of the journey, one, and two, as an invitation for growth. You gotta find aspects of your game that are on the minus, you know what I mean? And you gotta plus them. You gotta make them up, up, up your stats. You gotta up your stats, you know? It's simple as that. If your business, has like a couple of bags, so to speak, like a couple of, here we are, like, we are not that good, okay, so get it up as much as you can. you know, whatever you can do, just do it. And at the same time, your goods, get them way better, and that's it. Simple as that. Always a student, never a master. This is the final, right? Okay, this is the final. Always a student, never a master. White belt forever, motherfucker. White belt forever. So, like when you go like to the martial arts and all that, especially when there are belts, a lot of people who are black belts, they will tell you, I haven't a black belt, right? Yet. When will you get it? At 70? But they will tell you that a black belt is actually a white belt who have mastered the basics. You know what I mean? Always a student, never a master. You know what I mean? And trust me, it I started it in 2016. Before that, I just knew a couple of chords in the guitar, like simple chords, A minor, C, G, D, all that. Maybe a little bit of barre chords. That's it, right? I didn't knew what the key of a song was. I didn't knew 7ths, 11ths, whatever's, 13ths. I didn't knew how to produce a song when it comes to drums, bass, synthesizers, guitars. I didn't knew how to write a song, right, correctly. I didn't know how to mix. I didn't know how to master. I didn't know nothing, right? After 10 years and 160 plus songs, right? There was a period before like the 160, let's say 100 or like something like 110, like something like that. I'm just throwing a number. That I thought, oh man, yes, because like I was comparing like to a couple of other like songs and all that, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm great. I just have to keep on doing it. You know what I mean? And then I realized that I was stupid and I had so much potential at that time, right? And I'm working on it right now. So much potential, right? So much potential. There are so many artists that were, still are, etc. And that I haven't studied yet, meaning correctly. I have studied them, like in the past, but I have studied them, like as a beginner, as an amateur, right? Now I consider myself an intermediate, right? And I gotta study them, right? In the songwriting, the chords, there are so many roads to take to make a song with with all these chords and elements and all that, and songwriting and production. So many different eras, like for example, I was studying now because of the Jamiroquai, and people like saying that the Jamiroquai was very inspired by Stevie Wonder, right? Like I started like studying Stevie Wonder, right? I knew a couple of songs by Stevie, but I didn't knew like his whole like stuff, right? Discography. And the guy is a genius, especially when it comes to songwriting and the chords that he uses, like it's so good, man. He's so good. And he has like a beautiful aura in his songwriting, soul, you know what I mean? A beautiful soul, Stevie, right? And especially like the chords, how they go and all that. And I'm like, wow, man, like look how he plays like the chords and all that. Wow, right? And then God like threw me from a different era, Beauty Behind the Madness, The Weeknd, who I have like studied so much, and maybe like The Weeknd, right? The songs by The Weeknd, that album, right? Chord wise, maybe like they were like simple, like most of them, as I think, they were like loops of four chords. You know what I mean? But the production, mixing wise, you know what I mean? Like, and the synthesizers and how the instrumentals were like, ooh. So there is another era where like the producers, they decide like to give so much focus on the elements, the production and mixing of them. Like he goes into the um, what you call it, man? He goes into the bridge, boom, and everything like comes in, and elements that get out of it, and the reverb comes in. You know what I mean? And boom, all that, and then it builds up, and boom. While in the Stevie Wonder, like albums, I felt that he had like more of a uh, everything in the mixing. For example, it was like high frequency, everything. Wow, and all that. But the chords and all that, and the instrumentation of it wasn't like the other, but more chords. You know what I mean? And it kind of travels you and all that, and jazzy chords and all that, and chords out of the key and then get back into it, and so you know what I mean, like different eras, different stuff to study from each and everyone. You know what I mean? You can never say that, oh, I have mastered the game. I'm sorry. And every time like you say, oh man, like I have mastered the game, oh, trust me, there is like a huge uh what you call mountain. Once you reach a pinnacle here and you go down and you go okay a little bit, you say, oh, I have mastered the game, then it comes like a bigger mountain. You know what I mean? And yeah, this was it, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, life. Okay? A couple of words just to say to you and all that, just to get you pumped up and pump up myself too. So, without any further ado, it's me, Renaldo Zaimi, with another banger. Peace and love to all of you. I love you. Bye.